Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to ATM Spellbound. So last episode, of course, we got wheels set up, and we did a bit of automation with blood magic slates, and we are picking back up not too long after the last episode. And I've been crafting up some more nodes, because we were getting a little low on those. And I'm also going to just go ahead and get some masters crafted up. Now, our stuff hasn't started running imbued slates just yet, so I've only got 7 of those right now. But one thing that I did do is I did kill the wither a few times, got us a few beacons, because maybe once we get our slates ran, and we're at least up, maybe getting demonics or something like that, I'm probably going to push this on to up to a tier 5, just so we have faster crafting and more blood coming from our sacrifices and stuff. But let's go ahead and grab these. I figured I'd go ahead and bulk craft a few of these things. Now what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be setting up and plugging up a fair number of things. So first and foremost, let's pop back up. The very first thing that I want to get plugged up is our create area, which I haven't finished building out. It might be built out a bit for the world upload. I'm trying to get back up here. We've just been underground a lot over the course of the last few episodes. So I'd like to get back up here and do a bit of work. I'm going to be doing a little bit of building between episodes. So, but what we are going to do, we're going to set up ourselves a master routing node. We're going to have this setting right here is fine. And then we're going to have an output routing node setting right here. Okay. And we can go ahead and just bind these together. And then we're going to set up the filter for the master routing node. Lime sand? Yeah, why not? Bone meal, gravel, just a little bit of everything that's coming from this area, excluding blaze rods. And then let's go ahead and pop open a filter. We're going to add in lime sand, bone meal, weathered limestone, and this is the reason that we did not plug it up to our system before. Oh, it looks like we're going to need 1 additional slot. Oh no. We're going to go ahead and put all 9 of those into there. And we're going to click on here. And we're going to say, like, lime sand, keep like 900. Might want to take this slow because it's going to be sending items and then our system's going to have to run to fill it up. So let's say just, for right now, let's say keep 1 lime sand. Bone meal is a byproduct, so keep, I don't want to go quite to 1,000. Let's say keep 800 on hand. The weathered limestone, we're going to say keep 900 in stock. The limestone 1, the sand 1, the flint keep 800, the clay keep 800, the cobblestone keep 1 for right now, and the gravel keep 1. And then we will adjust this. We'll up the filters once it kind of runs through things. So just keep that. Just keep the byproducts and like large amounts of the byproducts and the weathered limestone. And we're going to just put that in right there. So we can see our values. Bone meal, weathered limestone, flint, and clay balls. And then what we're going to do, let's set up another output routing node. We'll have this one setting, say, right there. Should be fine. A little bit cluttered back here, but we're actually not going to be moving back here at all. Here very, very soon, except to like this, and that'll be it. And in this one, all we're going to do is we're going to tell it keep stone and keep 900 on hand. That's all we want you to do. So on the upside, keep stone, and then we'll just go ahead and we'll plug this up. And we don't have to do any like fancy redstone stuff or anything for any of this. It's going to be pretty straightforward. And then we're going to do input nodes. And let's go ahead and just configure all these filters. We're going to set all these to just deny and leave it empty because we want to just take everything because it's coming straight from these drawers. So what we'll do is we'll set up our first input node right here. We'll bind this over and we'll drop in the filter. And so if we take a look here, we should say, you can see stones getting pulled out at this point. And it's going into here, and it's going to keep going into here until it fills up the threshold that we set, which is like 900. So it should be just about to be done, and you'll see that it stops pulling out. Boom, 900. So this way we don't overflow our system, because I don't want this, if we just plug this up and just let it run, what's going to happen is buffers are never going to get filled up here. Stone, cobblestone, it's all going to be getting pulled out at the source, and eventually what's going to happen is we're going to have stacks and stacks and stacks of stone and cobblestone that literally just fill up our entire system. So this way we only keep basically one inventory slot of this filled with stone. Now we can go over that if we go mine stone and we throw it in, or we go and mine cobblestone and we throw it in, but our system's never going to automatically input past a certain point. And if there's any items that do become an issue, I mean, I've got a lot of lunar cobblestone, but it's actually not that big of a deal. That's still only taking up like 5 slots. But if there is ever anything where it's just like we've got too much of this, then we can have the system kind of pull out after a certain point. Like if we have over 4,000, pull it out, send it into deep storage, you know, or something like that. But this way we don't overflow our system, because otherwise we'll just kill our system with literally just stuff from this cobble gen system. And now then we're going to pop up here, and we're going to do the same thing. Just plug that up, drop in the item filter, and you can see it should start pulling out our clay balls. It's probably going to pull out all the clay balls. It looks like it'll probably leave some flint behind, because we don't need that much. We did set a limit on that. And I don't know how much is in the system at the moment of these things. And we're going to do the same thing here, and we can plug all this up together since nothing's going to be getting toggled off by redstone. It's all part of the same system. We'll go ahead, and this one is going to start actually getting everything running, because of course we did set a little bit higher of a threshold for weathered limestone. Yeah, there we go. Now it's moving. Since we only have basically one output routing node moving everything except for stone, it's only going to be able to output 16 at a time across all those different items, you know. But it's not really a big deal. I don't think it's going to cause us any issues, because we're going to have decently high thresholds of this stuff. Most of this stuff, I mean, this isn't like an expert pack where we need thousands and thousands and thousands of things to do things. So I think it'll be fine as it is. But of course, if you ever want to increase the speed of things, just add more nodes, basically. Then you can move more than 16 at a time. So, but that's all plugged up now, and so now all of our create system is running. We will have to, basically once weathered limestone builds up, we'll have to update this. We take a look, we do have the 900 weathered limestone, but of course it's got to fill the rest of this buffer back up, so it's going to be pulling some of this cobblestone, but it's kind of being limited at the moment based on this. And then once this is backed up, we'll do limestone, then we'll do that, and sand and gravel and so on. But okay, so that system is now plugged up. Super easy, and now we have all that stuff on hand, and we'll have a backlog of it as we use it, you know, like for making slates, you know, stone will basically just come in and it'll replenish as needed and keep us up at that threshold, and we should be able to upkeep it and not have to worry about it too much. So we don't have to worry about ever really coming back up to this room to grab those materials. They'll just stay stocked. All right, now let me pop down. Let me grab these filters. The next thing I think we should do is probably the bees. I was going to do our malum stuff, but I think we're going to do the bees next, just because this is how I make red dye at the moment, and I'd like to get this plugged up. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make 3 stable wormholes, just so, because we're kind of using these as our outlets, and I don't want to have to run a node network super far when we could just make another stable wormhole. You know, they're super cheap for us to craft at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and get 3 more of these made real quick. Okay, there's our last one. And then, of course, we are going to bind these before we go down. Before we get started, one thing I do want to do is I want to go ahead and set this to redstone. What's he getting? That apples. I never slotted apples, so this is a good time to do this because it's probably been backed up for a little bit. Let's put them in here. And then he should get that all emptied out. That's great. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to set up a couple filters here. And this area, it's going to take a lot of output nodes because there's just going to be a lot of different items coming in. And we're going to want to limit how much of each of these items are coming in. But let's grab one of all these things, except for cobblestone. I don't want to do cobblestone or sand. We'll just keep voiding those because we got them coming in from the cobblegen. There's really no point in having them come in another place. It's just a waste of another filter. So this one is, these are the deny ones. Let's actually just leave these alone. We're going to keep those separate. But let's grab this. Let's go ahead and put in dirt, zombie hearts, rotten flesh, rainbow honey block, sugar, beeswax, regular honey block. Bone meal, it probably won't come from this system, to be perfectly honest, because our cobblegen is making so much of it, and the same with bones. Yeah, let's not even plug those up either, because it's just another waste of a slot, because we're going to have these coming from other places. This is coming from the cobblegen, and we have plenty of it, and I really don't foresee us needing it from here. I don't know, we might do bone meal. Yeah, we might do bone meal, but we won't do bones, because we got those coming in from the automatic mob farm aplenty. We're going to be dealing with that to keep from getting more in our system here in just a moment. But that's the first one. We're going to go ahead and limit each of these to, let's go with like 800. A lot of these things we're actually going to be getting from exploration and stuff, so we'll just limit all those to 800. And then we're going to go ahead and set up one more. This one's going to have bone meal, apples, wood essence, nature essence, and I think that's it for right now. So those filters are set up, and then we're going to put in an input node. Let's just put our input node here and an input node here. The bottom side, we're going to set this to deny, and we're going to set this one to deny. This one, of course, is managing these items. We're going to go ahead and grab this connection. We're going to wait on this one. We're going to be setting that up here in just a moment. And then we're going to set up a stable wormhole. And I'll tell you what, we're going to put our stable wormhole right over here, just so we can visually see it. We're going to put a master routing node. I always like these to be like pretty visible. This room's an even, so it's kind of odd placing this, but we could put it right here is fine. We're going to bind that over. And then we're going to put in output routing node here, output routing node here. This one, we're going to put in our first filter. This one, we're going to put in our other filter. And then all we have to do is just link that up and link that up. And here in a second, we should see honey start coming into this. It's probably pulling something else out at the moment. If we take a look, it looks like it's pulling nature essence at the moment. So if we take a look, you can see nature essence building up there. And it's going to keep building up till it hits 800, but then we'll always have nature essence in here. Alright, so that's the first half. Now the other half, what we're going to do, I don't want to get in his way. He's really picky. If I get in his way, I have to push him back over. The next one we're going to do is we're going to take these honeycombs. I want to actually stockpile these because I do use these for building. And I think we'll have everything in here, but I don't have zombie. I'll have to add that whenever I actually set up a zombie area. But I want to keep some of these because we need them for crafting. We also need them for building. So what we're going to do, let's grab item filter. And we're going to just set these honeycombs, these honeycomb blocks in like that. And we're going to set each of these to store, might as well go 800. It's going to take a little while to fill the buffers, but I've got plenty of honey right now. And I want to instead focus on just having kind of the building blocks and stuff that we want. And we're going to set us up an output routing node. This one, and output routing node here to take those items. And then all we really need to do at this point is just plug this up. And it is worth noting here that we could do a node right here because, you know, we can set like this could have a different filter than this. However, our guys use this area, and so I'm just going to do 2 because it's going to make them just work better. You know, they're kind of particular sometimes, so I don't want to mess with them too much. Awesome, we're getting our rainbow honey blocks. That's what I really, really need. Now what I would like to do, let's grab just a comb of some sort that we don't really care if we run it. Probably cobby, to be honest. we're going to add this into here because we are going to need some honeycombs for crafting. And let me go ahead and just dump these into our system also. And let's pull out this one. We've got a bit of space here. And let's say copy honeycombs, keep 1,900 of these on hand. And the reason being is because when it comes to crafting with honeycombs, we may need a bit because of the way that the compacting crafting will work. If we were to say want to make a tier 4 apiary or a few tier 4 apiaries all at once. So we're going to do that, toss that back in, and we'll start stockpiling those as well. Now, it's probably still going to run some because this guy may grab some out pretty quickly. Chances are the nodes are going to grab it pretty quick when he brings the stuff over. So sometimes we'll get stuff into the system. Sometimes it'll go in to get ran for honey and stuff. But that's fine. You know, this is something that's just going to run for a bit. And then before long, we'll have tons of stuff backed up. Now what we're going to do, let's pull this back out real quick. And let's grab a honey bottle. And I want to add honey bottle to this, because we do use this for cooking and stuff, and I want to make sure that we've got some. So let's say 800 of these. Keep 800 of these, because why not? Why not? We'll just do it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put an input routing node. And I tell you what, because I don't have a good space to actually plug this up, because I only have one face available due to the way that this is built and decorated. Let's grab another nether honey tank right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put an input routing node right here. This is going to, let's actually, instead of just deny all, let's say allow honey bottles. And let's select that, and we're going to drop that in right there. And then we're going to do an output routing node. And we're going to configure this one to output bottles. And we're going to say just do like 32. Keep 32 bottles in this nether honey tank. And we'll drop that into there. Let's go ahead and connect these up, connect that over, and then we're going to set up a filter here that says glass bottles, and dump that back into the system. We're going to have an input node. I could do it here, or I could do it here. I don't know if that's, yeah, we can actually move through that fairly easily. Input routing node here, and it's going to have the standard item filter with the bottles. We do that. And then what we should see is if we take a look back there, 32 glass bottles went in. So if we turn this back on, this should start running again. Okay, our honey bottles are coming in. It actually might not be able to pull out from this side. Let me try, let me do it on the bottom, because there's 16 in there at the moment. Yeah, now it's pulling them out. Okay, perfect. So now we'll start getting honey bottles built up in the system. We got 29 in there at the moment. Some honeycombs will be coming in here. Some of them will be getting dumped into our system. But eventually everything will kind of balance out, fill out. Okay, I think that's everything for the bee section at the moment. You know, we'll continue adding. As we add more bees, we'll have to add more things. But at present, I think that's pretty good. At this point, let me pop back up to the blood magic area, because I am going to need some more filters. I'm stuck. There we go. Gonna need some more filters. Plus, I want to check on this, because it looks like our reinforced slates have finished up. We've got a little over 7 stacks of reinforced slates. We have 48 imbued slates at the moment, so it is stockpiling those. You can see that this needs a little bit more power. It has to come out as a power of 4 to actually do this. It's going to be the same way with the imbued slates, but that's fine. You know, it's basically just free at the moment. Yeah, we're going to need to upgrade this. But you can say we are making progress, it's just slow. Demonic slates might be a problem until we upgrade our altar. After we upgrade our altar, it shouldn't be an issue, because I'm going to be adding a lot more sacrifice runes. So I might do that here in just a moment. What is it, 52 runes to go to tier 5? And let's see, I think our speed is decent. We are going to buff up speed a little bit. We're not going to worry about capacity. This is going to be all speed and sacrifice. So we're going to go sacrifice... Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. Skip a space, do a couple sacrifices, and then a sacrifice in the middle. I think that's the way that we're going to lay this out. And then for our speed runes, I'm going to need some more blank slates. It's fine. I'll just take another stack. We're going to be feeding these into the system soon, so it's not going to hurt anything. And we'll just place these in. And then we'll be at the max tier altar. Our crafting will be a little bit faster, and we're going to be getting a lot more blood every time mobs get hit. So if we take a look, there we go. We have a tier 5 altar now. And hopefully it'll be able to keep up with demonic slates. We'll have to wait and see. We may have to make some adjustments. Honestly, with our system, capacity is not that important, so we could honestly cut out the capacity runes. If that becomes an issue, you know, if we need more sacrifice. But like right now, it's creating so much blood, it's staying capped out. So, all right, now the next thing I'd like to do is deal with our malum stuff. Because, you know, we have these spirits. We don't necessarily want all of them to go into our system, but we also would benefit from just having them in our system, because it's a little bit easier to access those, to be perfectly honest, than getting them out of the jars. We're going to use the jars as basically dense storage because we can, more or less. There's no point in storing them past a certain point, but we're going to. So what we're going to do, let's find us a really good spot. This actually would be perfect right here. We're going to put in a stable wormhole, and we are going to put in an input routing node right there. And we're going to configure this. We're going to say aquatic spirit, eldritch, and then we're going to just go in and we're going to say anything over 800. Or no, in this case, let's say anything over 900. Anything over 900. No, I think I want to do it as 1,000. With the way that we're setting this one up, because it's going to be pulling items from our system after a certain point instead of stocking items into our system. And we'll just pop that into there. And we're going to set up a master node. The master node can be pretty much anywhere. We're going to put it right over here so it's visible. And right as we come in, and we're just going to connect that up. And then we're going to set ourselves up a few output nodes, actually 8 in total. For this part, we're going to set all these to just deny, so they can take anything that they can store, because of course the only thing that they can store is the spirit that they've got here. We're going to just run these along the back side, and then in each of these we are going to put in standard item filters, and then we'll just link all of these up. And I do have over 1,000, but I'm noticing that the nodes actually they will not feed into these jars, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. It just means we'll probably need to just do a drawer system, to be honest. And I guess just keep these spirit jars just for decoration. I tried moving the nodes to the top, that, you know, they still didn't work. So I think just because they work with a right click, I just don't think they're going to work out for us, unfortunately. But that's okay. That's alright, we can still keep them for decoration. Confined Brilliance we can't put into a jar anyway, so. But you can see we do have over 1,000 wicked spirits in here, so. So I think what we'll do is, this is like perfect amount of space. We're going to go ahead and just remove this. Because they were just kind of for like decorative storage. And now we actually need it for real storage. So we're just going to put in, kind of mix it up a little bit. Do that. Do that. And we're going to grab one of all of these just to go ahead and slot them in. And by the way, if you just want one of something, just hold control. And it'll allow you to just pull out one of a given item. But then we'll just go ahead and slot all these in. I will probably end up adding void upgrades and some storage upgrades. But for right now, we're not going to need it. So there we go. And then we're just going to have ourselves an output routing node. I guess it'll just sit right here is fine. This is going to have the just deny filter. And then we can just plug that up. So we should see some spirits coming in here in just a moment. It's doing Confined Brilliance at the moment because we had like 3,000 or 4,000 of those in the system. So. And of course we can use these to craft XP bottles, but truth be told, we don't actually need XP. We have a literal ton of the stuff. Currently sitting on 240 levels, so I mean, we'll never need it. But we'll let that empty out for just a minute. We should see the wicked spirits get pulled out, and we should only have 1,000. It should stay at 1,000 at that point. So, And then we're going to go ahead and set up a stable wormhole right here, out in this hallway. And we're going to put an input routing node right there. And I want to test something really quick. If we did... because I think this will be exact. I think I'll have to use a different filter for this, but I just want to make sure. Because I can't remember if this one is fuzzy. We're going to say enchanted books. And we're going to put that right into there. But then let's put a master node in... right here will be fine. That's not a master node. And that's not what I meant to do either. And we'll go ahead and connect that up. And then we're going to connect the master over to right here. And actually, let's grab this filter out. It says all enchanted books. And that's what I'm hoping that it'll actually do. But let's take this filter. Actually, this one is perfect. This is a deny filter. We're just going to put that right into there. And then on this one, we'll put the all enchanted books. And we're going to bind that over. There we go. Perfect. So it's sending all enchanted books over here. And then what we can do is, you know, as we're running around, we can now just dump all of our enchanted books into here. They'll get sent over here, and then we can filter them. Another thing I'd like to filter is all of these. We have tattered tomes and withered tomes. I think that's it, right? Yeah. Because I'm collecting them because why not? So let's add that and that. Eventually, I'll probably will trash them once we fill out our library, but also the Quark Ancient Tomes. We want to send those over as well. And then we'll just pop that in. And then it should send, like for example, if I dump that in there, they come out. That's perfect. And then of course I can just dump them onto the shelves as needed. May end up, I don't know, I might try for just, I may change this later to like an even denser storage than a diamond chest. But I come through here enough that I think a diamond chest should be sufficient. Because I get so many of these enchanted books thanks to you know, the mobs dropping them all the time. But that way I can just easily dump these and they'll just instantly get pulled out. And that way I don't have to just sit on them or have them taking up space, even for a little while, you know, taking up space in our system. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to deal with our mob farms, just all of them in one fell swoop. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn this wall of this room into, I think, because originally I was just going to, since we weren't using chests, I was going to put spider webs, but I think we're going to make use of it. And we're going to plug this up to our system. So we're going to tear open the wall, and we're going to add our drawer controller there, and we're going to have a little bay of drawers. And these are basically just going to plug straight into our mob farms, and only our mob farms. That way we kind of have a centralized place to deal with a lot of the general stuff that we're going to be getting, you know? Stuff like Inferium Essence, you know? We're going to be getting that from every mob farm. But also just pretty much everything coming off of mob farms. I may put them down here if we find that we need them. But for right now, I'm just going to run these out. Just over to the edge, I think. And then while we're at it, let's go ahead and get a controller slave as well. And actually, since we have the facing the way we do, and I do want the nodes visible, let's go ahead and get 2 controller slaves. So we'll have one there and one there, because we're going to want to input and we're going to want to output from this system. So what we'll do, let's start off by locking this. And then let's go ahead and put... top will be output, bottom will be input, and then we're going to have the master node basically just sitting right back there. And we'll go ahead and link all of this up. Well, actually, we're going to be using probably 2 different master nodes. So, yeah, in that case, let's do master node here, master node here. And we're going to grab that one, plug it up there. We're going to grab this one, plug it up there. Now the filter for the input, is just going to be just a general deny blacklist empty, and then the output will be the same, because we're not going to filter all the different items. We're going to filter on the, of course, the stable wormhole. And then if we pop back, let's go ahead and grab everything that's in here, excluding like potions, because and spawn eggs, things like that that aren't going to be super common, but things like miniature red hearts, gold, grave dust, coal, bug guts, because bugs spawn all over the place. A lot of these like really general items. And we'll go ahead and slot these in. But I just don't want to overwhelm our storage system with a bunch of stuff, even, you know, even like obsidian or something that we're not getting a ton of, but we are still getting. Over time, that's going to add up, so I want to deal with that. Also, the mob charms, we're not going to slot those either. We're going to be doing something a little bit different with those. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to actually plug this up, and it's going to be a little bit of a process. This is our input line, and we're going to have to take this way down there. So really at this point, I should probably go ahead and make up just some regular nodes. Now technically we could run it with inputs and outputs, but they're slightly more expensive, not by much, but by just a little bit. Now back, you know, whenever we did it on SevTech, of course, nodes had like 100 block, you know, like so many 100 block range or something. It was ridiculous. Of course, that's not the case anymore. They do have a little bit more limit in terms of their range, but it shouldn't be an issue for us. Looks like we're just about backed up on imbued slates. We're going to plug those up to the system here in just a moment as well. Demonic slates we may have an issue with, because you'll notice whenever we run the imbued, our blood does kind of suffer. What we may end up doing is just removing the capacities and putting in more sacrifice. Possibly even cutting out a few of the speeds in favor of sacrifice. Because speed isn't so important whenever we're not actually having to do anything. It's just automatically running. I kind of wish we still had the tier 6 altar right now. But let's go ahead and grab a few of these. And we are going to also set up down here an input routing node. And we need to take this basically way up there. So can I run... Nope, that's too far. 16 blocks is our range at the moment with our nodes now. So we're just going to, I guess, take our time and get these ran over. Can we go here? Yeah. I wish you could see where your nodes were. That would be oh so handy. But let's go maybe down to the mausoleum. We might be able to pull up by just plugging up a node into the mausoleum, maybe. Well, no, because that's actually the opposite direction of where we need to be going. Okay, we can actually go here. It's going to be under the ground. This one won't be visible, but we can actually connect it to there, so that's fine. It'll be a little bit easier once we get this ran, though, because you know, we'll have a big distance there that we can kind of just plug into, and it's definitely going to make our lives a bit easier for the later nodes. Now this one, could we do that? We can. That's perfect. And we'll just kind of run up the side of this. So we do kind of have these nodes kind of poking through. I just love nodes. I think they look so cool. Then we can go up to here. And then really at this point we can just warp home. Let's see, can we make it to... The bottom is the input. Can we make it to here? I don't think that we'll be able to. No. What we'll have to do is we'll have to plug one up. Like say right there. And then we'll have to plug this up to there. And we're going to need to set just a deny filter here. Oh, and I plugged up to the input. I need to plug up to the output. Let me just switch that. Easiest way here is probably just breaking off the master and replacing that. And then we'll just plug this over like that. Now, if we take a look, you can see blaze powders coming in to this. And then another thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a chest right here. We're going to set the priority of this output to, say, 4. And then we're going to set another output. Let me find my output notes. We're going to set another output right here. This one's going to be just an empty deny at priority 0. And we're going to plug this up like that. So it should still be sending things. You can see it's still prioritizing sending the Inferium over to this. But then once it runs out of things that it can send to that, then it's going to send everything else here. We will probably get some Demonic Wheel, but that's fine. That's not a problem. And then let's go ahead now. Actually, before we do that, let's pop down here. And we're going to set up an input node. Always the one I'm not currently holding. We're going to set an input node up on this chest. We'll do it right there. There we go. Ah, why you guys set me on fire for? And we're going to set this to just a deny list. And we're going to grab that. And we're going to run it up to, hopefully we'll be able to reach here. There we go. And you can see it's starting to pull the things out of here as well. Has it emptied this chest yet? It has. Okay. So at this point, let's pop back home and take a look and see what we've got. That's what all we got from, you know, that one. So that's perfect. Now let's set another chest right here. For this one, what we are going to do is we're going to grab like the Silverfish Charm Fragment, for example. And we are going to filter this and say, you accept charm fragments. Uh-oh, it's filled up on Inferium now. Okay, at this point, really quickly, because it's going to get out of hand very, very quick. Let's go ahead, grab ourselves at least a few of these, and let's also get some void upgrades. Oh, we're out of obsidian. That's fine. I'll have to go mine some more, but let's at least put storage upgrades in this and a void upgrade. And then we'll just do, I know we're going to need it in that. And I suspect that we'll end up needing it in that as well. And then we've also got, that doesn't actually come from mob farms, but, well, I need to slot in string. And let's grab 2 more chests. We're going to set up another output. And we're just going to have it be right there. Let's grab spawn eggs and potions. I'm going to be keeping all this stuff separate. And some of this stuff will get sent off elsewhere. Like potions will go to our potion room. And we'll have like a little designated place probably for like charms and things. But I do want kind of overflow storage in here. And I'll put signs and label all of this. Silverfish spawn egg to one of these. And potions to another. It should say just Minecraft potion. And we'll go there, priority of 5. There, priority of 5. And this one, of course, priority 0. This one, priority 4. There we go. All these items are getting sorted. And then we kind of just have all this other stuff. I'm not for sure because we get like these apotheosis things and they don't classify as apotheosis. And I don't think they classify as enchanted either. I don't know if I want to have the system necessarily just dump. Well, I don't know. I'll have to mess around with that and figure out how I want to handle gear. Because gear is a little bit tricky within this because you have enchantability and you have apotheosis. We have the chance to get both of those from mob farms. So, I'll have to give that some thought. But let's go ahead. Let's pop over to our last mob farm. Which right now I noticed it's not running. It's the warding pearls that we've got, it won't allow the mobs to spawn if it's on. Because I've got warding pearls like right below this floor, down in the occultism area. So we're going to be going to the end fairly soon. So I'm just going to wait on that so that I can set it so that it ignores spawn conditions, and that way it will be able to spawn us mobs again. But right now we actually have a lot of backed up blood, I think. So I mean everything's been running fine. But we're going to just pop down to here. And we're going to be removing this stuff. Well, mainly the stable wormhole. We're going to take that, and we're going to replace it with just a chest. And then we'll put in our input node, grab that. Let me just fill in this again. Yeah, we can run it to there. And then we'll run it down this hallway, and then we should be able to plug in, I think. So there we go. That's plugged in now. And so it will also be able to send its items. Once it's up and running again, it will also be able to send its items over here. And then all we have to do, of course, is set up our stable wormhole. We will probably end up needing a few of these, so we'll have space. Basically, we'll just have our chest, and then we'll have stable wormholes through here, just kind of managing the items. But we'll go ahead and set up some output routing nodes. And then all we have to do is just set these into the filters. And here pretty soonish, once we start into elemental craft, we are going to be starting to compress our inferium essence. So we'll be pumping a lot of that elsewhere for compression, and then sending it into the system and keeping like 1,000 of each stocked or something like that. But for these, we're just going to go with like 800 on everything, I think. And for example, I ran the Wither Skeleton for just a second and was killing with my scythe. A couple things that we do need to just quickly grab from here. Let's have this output node. Instead of it doing that, let's instead disconnect that. Let's plug it up to this system that has the output, and let's grab like enchanted books, and also let's grab all 8 spirits. Or, well, we'll add more spirits as needed. We don't need them all right now. I think that's all that we're going to be pulling from that. And so we'll just do arcane, infernal, wicked, and enchanted books. And we'll drop that into there, and we're going to set the priority up to like 9. Okay, because all that stuff's being handled elsewhere. Swords, like I said, I'm not for sure how I want to handle those at the moment, so I'm just going to wait on that. But then if we throw this stuff in, I'm going to let the system handle it instead of me having to, instead of me putting it in there, because I want to make sure that it's going to the correct places. And beyond that, this is all trash. Bones, they are slotted, but I think they're already filled. Yes, they are. And then we need to slot these. And I did go ahead and drop our capacity runes in favor of 8 more sacrifice runes. I just don't think capacity matters that much for our system, to be honest. But I just want to make sure that our demonic slates, they are working, but they do kind of slow down whenever, you know, it starts smoking. So I want to try to prevent that, maybe. Okay, I just popped down here. I was killing some piglins, and I did notice that the demonic slates ran so much better after switching out for 8 more sacrifice over capacity. Capacity just doesn't matter when you got fast blood. It doesn't matter that much. And then, of course, I also bumped up the amount of mobs that could be spawned from this spawner at a given time, or the amount that could be in the area. And then it did pop the blood orb back in there, so that's perfect. It's running great, and you can see it's refilling our system. Our system is almost refilled. It was a little over halfway left whenever I popped down here, so just now, and it had to have just switched over. So, but you can see all of these have turned off, so it's running perfectly. Now what we're going to do, our last little thing that we're going to set up, is we are going to set up an input node on this drawer controller right here, and we're going to have an output node right here is fine. And then this line, let's see, that input is filtered. So really we could just plug it up to the same master line that's doing the input here, because it's all going to be filtered. So what we're going to do, let's grab one of everything. And let's grab this. And we're going to do, and we're going to tell it that it can do up to, for the wheel, which is going to take a little while, but our ramp is getting faster now. So it won't be that much longer before we actually start getting a lot of these in. And then for the slates, let's do, I don't know, 500. And I think that should be sufficient. We may bump it up to 1,000 just because, or 900, something in that range. But 500 should be good. So yeah, that should be good. So let's go ahead and just drop that into there. We're going to grab that, bind it over. And we're going to bind. So we'll do that. So we should see our slates getting pulled out. Wait, we never set this one up. It's just going to be a deny list for this one. So then if we take a look, yep, slate's going into there. Perfect. And that's going to, it's going to take a little bit, but then it'll build up 500 slates. So it'll probably be running a bunch of blank slates for a little bit. And then it'll switch over to reinforced and imbued and so on. And if we take a look, it's already running slates. It's already switched out the blood orb. So at this point, our entire base, pretty much, I think, is all kind of switched over to be updated and moved into the new age of routing nodes. So all the stuff that's being automatically produced from mob farms, from our create system, from down here, it's automatically being handled. It's keeping it from just overloading our system with just everything that's being made, because that would get really, really bad really quick. I mean, we can store a lot of items in this, but if we're constantly putting everything that we get in there, that's not going to last very long, you know. Take a look inside the library. Everything is automatically sent up here, which does mean we're probably going to need, I'm probably going to have to get the second floor of this built, because we're just going to have so many enchanted books. May eventually sort these, but what we're probably going to do is not worry about it and just fill the bookshelves up with enchantments, because before long we are going to be doing all of our enchanting through Botania, because that way we can make super books and never waste them. So they'll just stay around forever, and we'll have like looting 10 or something on everything that we make. So at this point, we are going to wrap up this episode here. There will be, of course, a Patreon world download available. It'll be on the Patreon page and on the Discord as per usual. And I do want to also say a big thank you to all the patrons and supporters for the channel. Also, everybody that watches the videos. It is very, very much appreciated. Now, between now and when that world upload comes out, because I have been bulk recording, I will be doing a bit of building. So the world may be slightly different, but I'll basically just be working on cleaning up and finishing up. Probably not necessarily finishing, but working on towards finishing some of the areas up. Maybe expanding the bee hive area, working on the courtyard a little bit, maybe move over some animals, and then maybe work on the blood magic area, maybe some on the actual castle manor area. Maybe at long last get the dining room put in, some things like that. Maybe add some details to some places. So there may be a few changes for you guys to check out. And once again, there is a chest in the main hall that will have all of my inventory and baubles and all that. So if you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to it. But yeah, so anyways, we're going to wrap this up here. Come next episode, we will be doing... we'll be starting towards getting some spells, because I want to get some spells before we go out exploring again, and I want to go out exploring here soon for a variety of building materials and for a variety of progression materials as well. We're actually going to be doing a couple different dimensions pretty much back to back once we get our spells. And for everyone celebrating, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas. I think this video should be scheduled to be about Christmas Eve-ish, so I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas and happy holidays. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.